Right, we are back with episode 7 now of the Midnight Pod, and we're just saying to Adam, I guess, I'll let him introduce himself in a second, but yeah, I've been recording like 2 weeks for the past, 2 weeks, trying to stick on that 1 episode per week for like the next year on that runway, so give myself some time so I can actually leave the flat one time if I actually want to go away. But this is a big episode in my opinion. Adam's pretty fucking underground, to be fair. In my opinion, probably actually are like one of the biggest ecom beasts in the UK that no one fucking knows about. Like, I will say that. I'm sucking your dick a little bit, but yeah, me and Adam probably go pretty far back, to be fair, like 5-6 years back in the day, which I'm sure we'll dive into. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of my mates that I see more often now probably don't even know who the fuck you are and don't know as much about your story and shit, so I think it's going to be a banging episode. And we've got Tokyo as well, ruining everyone's life as usual.
Well, I don't mind. He's a good boy.
But I guess, yeah, first question, just give you the stage. You could probably spend half an hour speaking about this alone, but just like your background, when did you get into ecom up to now, really, which I know is about, 7 years or something?
Yeah. All right. I'm not good with timelines and dates, but started dropshipping probably. I remember messaging you asking where you're learning this stuff.
Yeah.
Added me to Murray's Facebook group. That must have been 6 years ago.
That's classic. That's like cult shit.
Yeah, 6 years ago. James Beatty as well.
Yeah.
So dropshipped for probably about a year and a half. This is really cutting it short. Dropshipped for about a year and a half. Moved into print on demand. Then moved into custom print on demand in 2018, and yeah, have been there ever since. But that is, the tip of the iceberg, really.
Yeah,
I can go in more depth if you want. We can
just bring the mic up a little bit, like an inch. Yeah, perfect.
There we go.
Yeah, because am I right in thinking, I actually remember how we originally came across each other, because you were, I think, a year above me in Newcastle. Were you in Newcastle, or Northumbria?
Newcastle, yeah.
And I was Northumbria, because I was fucking did shit my A-levels. And you had, what was it called? Like Longline Clothing.
Yeah,
drop shipping like
brand.
jeans.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I like either saw what you were doing and basically ripped it off with one of my first successful dropshipping stores, which became Dusk, which was the brand that I've referred a few times.
Yeah.
I think you messaged me being like, why the fuck are you using...
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was using your shit.
We didn't know. Well, we did. I saw you post wavy leggings on Facebook, and I had you on Facebook because I was a promo wanker at uni and just added everyone and invited them to events.
Yeah.
That's what marketing was.
Yeah.
Invite them to a Facebook event. So that's how I knew of you. And then I was like, this looks interesting. I'd already tried to start a clothing brand at uni and failed.
Yeah.
So I messaged you like, oh, you're using that thing called Obolo. You're like, yeah.
Yeah, fuck. This is going to be a nostalgic episode, to be fair. Obolo, classic. And
it went from there. But then obviously I started the Longline Clothing thing, which was just like a drop-shipped streetwear brand.
Yeah.
And you obviously, we'd talk about numbers and stuff. I don't know what you were running at the time, but it can't have been as good as what we were doing Longline, because you went and made Dusk, and I was like, you absolute fucker.
Yeah, I remember that, because I had wavy leggings, which was like my first... Well, that was print on demand in this was like May 2016, I think. I had like a few brands before that which didn't do anything. Wavy leggings did like 15 grand in sales in like 3 months without Facebook ads. But then I was like, the margins are too small, etc., etc. Then I think that's when I joined Murray's Facebook group. Yeah. Like 7-figure kings or some bollocks.
Yeah. Fuck.
These are like, this is actually like, this is like, in a few years, we'll look back on this sort of shit. Like people look back on like, I don't know, like MySpace and Bebo and stuff, and like all those, and like Tumblr.
Yeah,
it's like it's gonna be in the history books.
Murray's Facebook group.
Yeah, well, in the ecom community.
Yeah,
and that's where then I started learning. This was like maybe a summer to like, because I remember I went home and I'd lost my job that I previously had the previous summer at Waitrose. Mm-hmm. And then I had a job at John Lewis the year before, and then in 2016 I didn't get rehired, and I was like, I literally had like 14 quid. Fuck. I just remember thinking, well, I'm just gonna learn Facebook ads in a group. And
you picked Murray's, you picked the right one.
Yeah, joined a bunch of groups back when like Facebook was, I guess, what fucking TikTok is now probably. Figured out Facebook ads, then that was the thing. I don't know if it's because I saw yours, but maybe. But then I started drop shipping the jeans, etc. And then that's when my mate eventually came in.
Stuff before that. That wasn't your first. I know, but you wasn't.
That was my
jewelry.
first. That was my first drop shipping store.
No way.
I had a brand before that, which was Gentry Club. Well, that was like 2015.
Yeah, there's so much stuff I've skipped over. All the little shit I used to do.
Yeah, you're really crap at doing an intro. Tokyo's also trying to bite your arm off.
Shagging my
Annoying
arm,
little fuck.
biting my sleeve. He
What's he
can smell
doing?
my dog.
He goes wild when guests come over.
He wants the canvas, mate.
Yeah, he
Get
did that to
down.
Chris.
Get
the other
down.
episode.
Get down. Good
He's
boy.
going mad. But yeah, that was my first dropshipping store, pretty much.
Okay.
And then the
Didn't
first
know
one as well that I discovered ads, and obviously back in 2016, I remember getting like £1 cost per purchase, and I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing.
Please. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think you were doing
God, it
similar
was so
stuff.
cheap back then.
Yeah.
So cheap.
But you also run in Tiger Wednesdays, because going to that,
I mean,
because you were
yeah,
a promo
again, mix
wanker
of
in your
it.
own
So-
words. You've done a very shit intro because you've got a good story.
All right, let's rewind. I was always one of the kids in school that was always wheeling and dealing, trying to make money, usually online.
Yeah.
And I knew of Alibaba, AliExpress, DHgate, all that stuff when I was like 15, and I was buying replica stuff. Obviously shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
Buying replica stuff, importing it from China, selling it on eBay, because I needed to afford the lad's holiday at the end of sixth form.
Yeah.
And anyway, I got shut myself down. I got a letter from customs and they were like, stop selling these fake Ray-Bans.
Yeah.
Like, okay, sorry.
I feel like that scam's still going on now.
Yeah,
to be fair.
100%. Stop doing that. I actually I was like a proper nerd when still am a nerd. I was obsessed with Pokemon when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so I thought, fuck, I'll start selling rare Pokemon trades on eBay. And I was the first person to sell Pokemon trades on eBay. And then loads of people started doing it.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Did loads of stuff like that whilst in sixth form. And then obviously went to uni because that's what you do, apparently.
Yeah.
So your teachers tell you. Went to uni and everything got kind of like put on hold. I stopped, trying to start businesses, making money for myself, and started doing like promotion, which to people who
In Newcastle, it's such a big thing as well.
Newcastle,
Big nightlife scene.
it's such a weird culture. There was a big bubble with like promo in Newcastle when we were at uni, and I decided to start working in promo. Did that for 2 years, working for another company, and then decided, hang on, I can do this myself.
Yeah.
So I teamed up with another lad, and we started a night called Tiger Wednesdays in my third year of uni, which turned into like a massive weekly night out for all the Newcastle uni sports teams. We had like 3,000 people every week outside Tiger. Queues like you probably see them in London, but in Newcastle it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was walking down, what's the name of the main street in Newcastle?
Granger Street. I've lost
Northumberland
touch.
Street.
Yeah.
Every Thursday I'd go
It's a while back
down,
now.
pick up the cash, work out what I owed people, and walk down Northumberland Street with £1,000 in cash in my backpack to put in the bank every week in third year of uni. And think about that now, it's like, you fucking idiot. Like, why did you could easily got mugged.
Yeah, people start to notice you.
Yeah, so I was doing that. Nobody really knew how well it was going except my housemates who also worked in promo. But anyway, thought I would carry on doing that after graduating. So stayed up there for maybe 6 months. Everything went to shit. New management came into our venue that we were using and didn't like me, kicked me out. And got lawyers involved. He says he got lawyers involved. I was being sent all these like legal letters. And it turns out, after having done research a few years later, it was his mate who, yes, was a lawyer, but this was never going to get taken to court. But me being a naive 20-year-old who didn't want to lose all the money he'd made and all this stuff, and felt like if I have this behind me, I'm not going to get a job, I kind of gave in. I was like, you know what, let's just leave it.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I don't know if you ever mentioned that before.
Yeah, no, I
Rings a
haven't.
bell.
Moved back with my mum and dad, and obviously they were like, okay, what's the plan? So started applying for master's degrees and jobs.
What degree did you get? Sorry, did you finish uni?
Yeah, linguistics, pointless.
Yeah.
I applied for a master's in entrepreneurship at Leeds. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, I did entrepreneurial business managing for 6 weeks before leaving.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah, really.
Anyway, got an interview for potentially like what would be, if I was that sort of person, would have been the job of my dreams. And my mum and dad were buzzing for me, and went down to London and was in this hotel, couldn't really sleep, woke up really early in the morning. And it's cliche as fuck, but I put the suit on, I put the tie on, and looked in the mirror. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you even here?
What was the job?
It was, I had an interview to be an operations analyst for MI5.
Fucking hell. MI6 just down the road.
Fuck, well, sorry boys.
Yeah.
And I realised, like, okay, don't go to this interview. There's no fucking way you can go back on this because they're not going to have you back. You've let them down, blah, 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 blah. okay, well, it's not me, so I'm going to let him down. Packed my bag, got on the train, got home. I was like, shit, you've just thrown away what would be...
You didn't go at all?
No.
You just decided on the morning?
Yeah. I hadn't slept. I got like 2 hours sleep, got dressed as an interview. I was like, what are you doing? This isn't you. Go home. So I went home and I was like, right, I need to make business work for me now, because I realised this is the sort of person I am. This is for me, entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So I was like, the next thing you do, you need to take seriously. And it was dropshipping, which was like the least serious online business you could possibly start, arguably.
Best place to start, though.
Best
in
place
many ways.
to learn, yeah.
Especially back in those days.
So that was it. That's how I got into dropshipping, and that's when I messaged you like, yo, I've just seen wavy leggings. Where can I learn?
Yeah, because I was still in uni at that point. I didn't... Were you in Leeds then? You back home in Leeds?
I was back home in Leeds, because you're a year younger, so...
Yeah, shit, you would have been. Yeah, because at that point I'd already delayed a year, because I'd done a year out when I dropped out, and then went and worked in London doing this M&A shit.
Yeah.
Went back, tried to pretend I wanted to be at uni again, and then, I guess fairly similar story. And then, how long were you doing dropshipping for, and how did that look?
It feels like a lifetime. I couldn't really give you an accurate timeline if I tried. I just remember, because we went to Singapore to that conference, and I was dropshipping then. I remember we were in some bar.
That was a fucking
and
classic
you were saying,
conference.
do you check your analytics like every hour? I was like, no. Why? Oh, I'm obsessed with checking my analytics. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I don't do that at all now. How to get mentally ill, do that.
So I was maybe doing like $1,000 or $2,000 a day in revenue. I do vaguely remember having my first 100 grand month, and I had this big Facebook group with like 30,000 people in. I was teaching people dropshipping because I thought I
remember that.
And I remember posting in this group, oh my God, I've just done my first £100,000 month, blah, 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 blah. And I can't even tell, it was probably like 2017.
Yeah, that was 2017.
It was. Okay.
That conference was September 17.
Right, yeah.
And there's so many people from that, like in good and bad ways, that I remember, because like people like Jordan I met there, which
Jordan turned 18 that first night, Thursday night, yeah.
But then there's a lot of people like Steve and Evan Tan, like what
Mate, you're gonna get shot if you start name dropping like that.
I'm not saying good or bad things, but you don't really hear about those people.
You don't. But I think it's
even like Murray Edwards. Unless you just stopped being public, but
yeah, like people probably will do a podcast in here and say, do you remember Adam Reed? We're in his Facebook group. Yeah, he's probably, in fact, you know what, like a year ago someone messaged me like, Adam, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good. All right, well, people are posting in your Facebook group saying you failed and that you've had to get a job. I was like, all right, cool. Do you not want to answer them? No. That's fine for them to think that.
Yeah, fuck.
But yeah,
those Facebook groups are mad.
They were helpful at the time, but
and then
they get to a point where it's just a waste of time.
When did the pod transition start? Because the next distinct memory I have was that we're both in was we had that office in Leeds.
Yeah, same.
In summer, I think when it was
Canal something.
Castleton Mill.
Castleton Mills, not Canal Mills, Castleton Mills.
Because I was back home in York for a while, and I was thinking about moving to Leeds, and then I thought, I'd get an office in Leeds with you. Mm-hmm. And this was like in between. This was like peak when I was dropshipping and traveling the world. I suddenly had this weird. I was doing big numbers. I suddenly had this weird. I want to come back and get an office. But then I remember we obviously sacked it off after like 3 months. I think it was like July, August, September 18.
Yeah, because they actually emailed us like, you're clearly not using this office. Yeah. Can we give it to someone else? We're like, yeah. It's so impulsive.
Yeah, I've done a lot of fucking mad impulsive things, to be fair, that I do think in hindsight, like, don't regret it, but you just learn funny, like what you like and don't like, and at the time I did not want an office.
Yeah, but you also like learn how impulsive and erratic you are as a person, which I never was growing up. I don't know why it's starting to come out now that I'm like a fully formed, well, probably because I feel like
you're a lot more mature and less erratic than me in my experience.
100%, we can get onto that. Yeah, shit. Some funny stories.
But yeah, I remember that, and then I went off to Australia with some shit, and that's about a few months before I started getting back into the brand building space. But
yeah, I think so. Definitely the next memory that I have is dropshipping for me, I kind of lost touch with it. I stopped enjoying it, and because I stopped enjoying it, I stopped teaching it. And I just kind of took myself away from that whole bubble of Facebook groups and, how to make money online, blah, 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 all that bullshit. and just kind of moved into print on demand because you don't have to deal with inventory, so you can scale it as quickly as you like to an extent. But also you don't have customers leaving 1-star reviews, opening chargebacks saying, hey, I ordered this 10 months ago, where is it? So that was really, really good for me in terms of just like a step up, a step in the right direction. And I was doing that when we had the office with Eddie as well. And I remember it was November time, we had it in Q4.
Shit, yeah.
Eddie was there for a while.
I actually forgot about that. Yeah, Ilu rings, which he then sold.
And and I was like, we were chatting about all sorts of stuff, and I remember having a conversation with Eddie. He said, you know, what would you exit for? I think you said like 10 mil. He said like 20 mil. And he said to me, Adam, what would you exit for? I was like, I'd be happy with a mil. He's like, really? But yeah, anyway, so we're in the office.
It's funny looking back at shit you say when you're like a bit more inexperienced.
I know. And I was running this print on demand website, and it was Q4, and I was doing like 17 grand a day, and it was the most I'd ever seen on a Shopify dashboard before. And I was starting to see issues with my fulfillment because my artists could not produce this artwork quick enough. And in January, we got like a big backlash from that. It was quite hard to recover from.
Oh yeah,
as a business.
This was before your current brand.
Remember the woman who managed the office? She'd email us and say, "Hey, I've got this person in Australia ringing, asking for this business, asking where the product is." I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, sorry, that's me."
Yeah, I remember that.
And she said, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've had it before." I was like, "Oh, really?" She said, "Oh, yeah. I used to work customer service for pup socks, and it was terrible." I was like, "Oh, no way." So yeah. And anyway, learned a lot from that. Come January, when I had all those issues come in, and then March 2019 had this idea for another brand, and having learned from all the mistakes with the first one, knowing what I needed to do in order to scale sustainably without breaking anything, here we are. It's been a major success.
Yeah, because you said earlier you've been doing the current brand. Are we allowed to name the current brand?
We can name it. I think people know by now.
Yeah, Crown and Paw.
Yeah.
So, because I always tell people that you basically, in my mind, invented. Well, I just say you fucking came up with like the custom pet portrait niche. But I guess it's a bit. I mean, it's more specifically like regal stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
like almost like a comedy brand.
Body. We were the first to do 100% digitally, anyway, not by hand. 100%. And now there's loads of copycats, but they can't touch us. I'm quite confident in saying that they can't touch us. We've invested so much in stuff they've not even had to think about yet, because they've not had to experience the scale and the volume in November and December when it's make or break for that type of business. Yeah. So it's a different. It's just a different ballgame.
The previous one, what's the previous one? Printy Pets.
Printy Pets, yeah, very small. Still,
because I remember that was very. Is that still going?
Still ticks over, yeah.
And that's basically the same, just with a slightly different spin.
Same idea. It's the same business model. It's pets, man. It's same, just different branding, different type of artwork, different team of artists, but everybody like the core team are all the same. Yeah. The software that we've built ourselves is the same. It's just like Printy Pets version 2, Crown and Paw, and it's just learning from the mistakes I made with Printy Pets in that first year when that started taking off, and getting things in place, investing in the places you need to invest to prepare for the scale that you know is going to come. But maybe, didn't expect it to scale so quickly. Like, I was running the ads until we were spending like 10 grand a day on Facebook, and I thought I need to kind of be the CEO of the company instead of the ads buyer at this point, and spoke to various agencies and decided on one, and he said the same thing. Like, the owner of this agency was like, you need to direct the company, you need to be deciding where this is going. It's not just going to be a print on demand business. You need to take it where it needs to go. And you can't do that if you're spending 10 grand a day on Facebook and you're in the account in the trenches for 8 hours a day. I was like, yeah, fair enough. So outsourced that, and got invited to their offices in LA, took my brother, and we had this meeting, and we figured out, we can as a company produce this amount of orders per day without breaking, because I said to them, I don't want to break this. Yeah. So then we backtracked, we figured out how much we can spend a day to not break the business but still make a shit ton of money, and we did, and this was 2019. It was a huge success. Yeah, but also in 2019, I decided to go to Bangkok to like another conference with a friend of mine. And the flight from Hong Kong to Bangkok was on Black Friday. And the checkout broke because I wasn't on Plus.
I remember this.
And we worked out that I must have lost like 300 grand in revenue in 4 hours. So yeah, I fixed some problems and created some new ones. But yeah,
I remember that agency. I ended up working with that agency. I'm not going to name them, but are you still working with them?
Yeah, still with them. Yeah, there's been a lot of personnel changes, and we have issues, and we talk it out. And
yeah, you probably get white glove treatment at this point, though.
Yeah,
with white glove treatment plus some.
Good. It's pretty good. But yeah, so we did a shit ton of money in the first 9 months, not even a full year. So end of 2019, it was crazy. I think we did 10 million in revenue. Well, I'm gonna have to say this because it's out there. We did 10 million in revenue, and then 2020 didn't break the checkout on Black Friday, luckily, and we did 20 million in 2020.
Pounds?
USD. Everything's in USD.
Yeah.
So we've done 30 million so far. Well, more because we got this year, but yeah, it's crazy.
Sick. Right, so huge numbers compared to, well, by anyone's standards really, but particularly for a new fucking brand in the first year and the second year, pretty much the first years. What's it looking like this year? You said you can't mention that, or?
I can mention, I'll just say it's not looking as good as last year because I think every e-commerce business will have experienced such a positive impact from COVID.
100%.
Everyone's been at home on their phones buying shit. So
it's not looking quite the same for me either.
Yeah. But I mean, it's still very, very healthy and I'm happy where it is. And I've finally figured out the direction we want to take, not only Crown and Paw, but, the company as a whole.
And how many brands? You mentioned 2. You think you got more than 2, do you?
There's 3. The other
3
2
pod brands.
Everything's custom print on demand. I mean, I realize what a position I'm in terms of a platform to build off. Custom print on demand is definitely where I need to be for the next few years because I've experienced so many ups and downs with it. I know all the issues people will experience when they're trying to scale.
Yeah.
I know that there is a bottleneck when you're scaling past a certain level that people can't fix right now because there's nothing out there to help them. I can't really go into much detail, but we've invested a shit ton of money to put us in a position where we could scale to 20 million in a year. 50% of that.
We already have.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So that was problematic.
And it's been fucking easy. It was easier last year dealing with that than it was dealing with Printy Pets 3 years ago, doing less than $1 million in a month. It's insane.
How much do you think you could possibly do with either one of the brands or all of the brands? Do you think there is a ceiling? Like, could you do 100 mil with print on demand, custom print on demand?
Oh, with custom print on demand, yeah, you can do 100 mil, but not with one of mine. There's a ceiling with them because of the type of product they are.
So you think you'd have to have like 10 doing 10 mil? You don't think you can get 1 to 100 mil unless it was a much bigger niche or something?
No, you can probably get one to 100 mil, but it's going to be like a general store type thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not up for that because I like the creative process that goes into brand building. And people are probably listening thinking, you're fucking stupid. You've done all this stuff. Why don't you try go for 100 mil with one store? Because I don't want to. Simple as that.
Yeah. That's a very mature outlook. I think a lot of people realize that because like we were saying again briefly before we started recording, was it me? Was it us? I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. And yeah, a lot of people are you'll ask anyone, what do they want to sell their brand for? Or just whether they started a brand or they want to start a business and they're like 100 mil. Or I want to do 100 mil. And they pull this number out.
Oh, because it's a round number. Right.
It's usually people that haven't even done 5 mil yet. Yeah. That say, I want to do 100 mil. Because it's a round number.
And then reassess.
And people don't say a billion because a billion sounds silly. So they land on 100
And it's
mil.
funny because you say this and it's so true. And then I think about myself and I'm coming from it totally oppositely. I'm like, I'd love to make $1 million in a year. And I did. I'm like, oh, that was pretty boring. And I did 10 million. I think 10 million is my sweet spot. I love going 0 to 10. 10 to 20 has not been as fun because it's a proven concept and you're just refining systems. Maybe 10 to 100 would be fun. I don't know. I'm not going to try it because I don't want to have heart attacks and not go to sleep at night and be fucking stressed to my eyeballs. So
yeah, interesting. And the team behind it all then? I think you mentioned before, like a year or whatever ago, that you had a shitload of people. Is it how many is it? Like, is it as many? What does it look like?
We've managed to downsize. We've downsized because of a few different things we've built on the back end that just made certain people redundant. But we've got like 100 hourly staff, team members, contractors. I couldn't even put a number on the number of like freelance designers we have, because every single order, when I say we've done 20 million in a year last year, every single dollar was related to an order that required a human on the end of a computer to design something by hand, which is insane.
By hand?
Not just on Photoshop. By hand on Photoshop with a tablet. And this is something that like my mate Carl reminds me of quite frequently. Like, it's impressive enough scaling to that level. It's fucking insane to think that you've scaled a custom design business at the end of the day to that level. Every order required someone to design something. It's not as simple as we got the order, all right, China, hi, ship it here, cheers.
Yeah,
it's
shit.
Mad.
Do you not think in a way though, I mean, as an observation, I suppose that's probably what has also enabled it to scale to that point, because there's less competition because most people can't fucking figure out how to do it. And secondly, like the perceived value to a customer is way higher, which is obviously what I was trying to do with the neon shit. Didn't work out because it was fucking if there was a neon on demand supplier, then maybe that would be different. But
no, I would agree. The barrier to entry is higher than other types of e-commerce business, but it's not too high that you can't enter it. And I've seen that from copycats, but we just deal with them and shut them down and make it so they can't be profitable, or they're making 100 quid in sales a day, spending 90 quid on Facebook and got like a quid profit or something. It's like, go away. And
so just going back to the team, so 100 whatever, like, do you know the exact number? Or is it just roughly like 100 plus?
100. I mean, it goes up and down every month, like.
And do they?
Everyone's most people full time.
They're not 100 employees. They're 100.
No, they're all contractors.
Every single one.
99%.
Yeah. And are they overseas? Philippines? Yeah. And do you use an agency, or is that literally all like Upwork?
All in house.
As in, like, you hire manually hire every single one.
I don't hire them anymore.
Well,
but there's.
But like, it's not an agency that's in between.
No,
because I used an agency called Go To Impact.
No,
who were good, by the way.
Yeah, I would love to try that out in the future potentially, because it can be a headache, but at the same time, me saying it's a headache is kind of demeaning to my department managers who, if you're listening, which you probably are, have been with me since dropshipping. They've been with me for like 5 years. Can't fault them. Like, my CS manager attends pretty much every gorgeous webinar there is, and she is so excited to tell me about the new stuff that's rolling out, and she's so passionate about what she does, and I can just trust them to build teams, put stuff in place, manage people, analyze performance, remove people when they need to be removed, hire new people.
That's what you need.
It's just cyclical. Teaching them new stuff that I need them to know, like, okay, November, December, that's go time. How do we avoid backlogs with emails? Because 2019, not only did we have a backlog of orders, but I was sat in a Starbucks in Bangkok answering customer service emails because there was 4,000 emails that hadn't been replied to in over 3 days.
Because of the checkout?
Not because of the checkout, because no one had the fucking orders on time.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
So, I'm not afraid to dive in, but I was like, right, we need to, and I don't know why we didn't do this in the first place. It's stupid a business so big didn't have an order forecast and then work it back to, okay, how many incoming tickets do you have per order? Okay. How many tickets are we replying to per hour? Okay. How many staff do we need to deal with this many incoming tickets?
Yeah, I had a similar issue in Neon, to be fair. Like,
we did it in 2020 and it was a different ball game. It was like smooth. It was just ridiculously easy. So, yeah, but I'm excited for where it's going to go.
And just on that then, because I think a lot of people right now, like I said at the start, I mean, it's fucking big business, particularly given, it seems pretty lean. Like, you don't have an office or anything, do you?
No.
You just work from home.
Well, I mean, I've had the office experience with you, and I was like, commuting for an hour there and back. What's the point?
No, I completely agree. Yeah. I think, especially obviously COVID, like I think a lot of people, like, I think offices as a whole have like shifted in
Yeah,
their
I mean,
significance
going back
in
to the whole
society.
impulsivity thing, like I'll wake up one day and be like, oh, it'd be fucking sick to have an office and like build an in-person team and just get loads of the best talent in Leeds or London or wherever, and just build this giant company. And then I give myself a slap around the face and I'm like, no, you won't enjoy that. You'll be bored after 6 months. And then you've got all these responsibilities, all these staff to keep on the payroll and make sure they can feed their families or whoever, pay the rent.
Yeah. I think, you're a really good example of that, because it's definitely a bigger business than most businesses in the UK that have an office, etc., etc. Like, I mean, obviously, but yeah, I think a lot of people that, particularly like the ecom space, maybe haven't started at all, it's like because they have no context. They're like, oh, I want to build the next Gymshark. Like, of course you do, because it's cause it's in the media everywhere. But yeah, I mean, I can probably say I don't think I'd want to do that. You know, fucking, I don't know, whatever it is, 500 million billion revenue now, and like, you know, 1,000 employees. It's definitely badass. Like, I haven't done that, but I'm just not even sure I want to do it. Yeah, because like right now you could fuck off anywhere in the world, as you do regularly, probably more regular than you were. More regularly now, yeah, definitely. Because just on that as well, because you definitely travelled, I think, like quite a bit less than I did over like the past few years. Yeah, 100%. I think which is probably why you're doing better than me right now. But I've always thought that, like, you know, like the whole sliding doors thing, because you were always saying, yeah, come to Bali with, you know, all the lads that you were there with, and I always wanted to go, but I always didn't. And I always think, shit, if I'd have gone to Bali, I wonder where I'd be now. Would I be running a smaller business or a bigger business, or totally different? Like, what would it probably depends on the person, to be honest. You can absolutely build a massive business being a nomad. I honestly think you can. It's just about knowing. Like, but it's funny because like I was chatting to Eddie the other day, got different things, and he's living with Tim and some other people, and obviously you were in Bali with those guys, and I think I probably would have ended up just moving to London, and I probably would be mates with a lot more. Well, would be mates with a lot more people down here, but I don't think I'd be running as big a business as I am, because removing myself from that has allowed me to be with my mates from home, who I absolutely love, and keep me grounded, but also just work away in the background and not care about fucking Instagram and Lambos and fucking all that shit. Yeah, like I do think it depends on the person though, because for me, like if I'd stayed fucking living in York, I know for a fact I'd fucking hate my life. I might have a better business, but I'd just hate it. Right. So I think it's just it comes down to being self-aware. It's quite interesting though, because 2 previous guests, one episode will be up now. Jordan from Mobe, similar to you, like still lives where he's from. He actually lives with his parents. I know you don't. You live in a fucking bougie house. I've not actually been, but it's decent. And he was saying a similar thing. Like for him, it works. He likes being with friends that aren't actually doing the same shit. Yeah, keeps him more focused, etc. And yeah, I can definitely see that. It just, I think definitely comes down to there's pros and cons, and what I'll say is I'll definitely, most likely either rent somewhere or buy like a second place in London, just because I can come down and benefit from the network here. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm using the people down here just for the network, because I'll have a good laugh, and it keeps your mindset. I bang on about network. It's probably just I prefer living here because I can go to cool places. Yeah, fair enough. Whereas if I'm in York, like, or even Leeds, I mean, I don't know Leeds as well, but there's not as much going on. I say that, and then I don't go and do anything. I mean, I don't really go out like into town much anymore anyway. Yeah, neither do I. Saying that I did the other week, but the hangovers, mate. Yeah, legit. Not for me. But yeah, I definitely do a lot more traveling now. But yeah, pretty chill. So life. One thing that I want to bring up then, because it's quite an interesting one. So the whole Forbes 30 under 30 thing. So obviously you were on that. It's in your Instagram bio. Yeah. Which, just playing devil's advocate, if you're not about that Instagram flex, why is that in your Instagram bio? Yeah, so it's been in and out. I'll open with that. Yeah. On that point. I mean, for me, the Forbes 30 under 30 thing is an accolade that gives you like genuine credibility. Yeah, credibility in the space, and I was proud of it, and it was validation from peers that this guy's doing well. Whereas a Lambo, post a photo of a Lambo or some fucking super yacht or something, right? Cool. Yeah, no, I agree in that respect. Cool. Like, but what value does this, like, I feel like having that there, and I've had a few people like message me like asking for help and advice and stuff, and I'm happy to give it,
I've just opened up a can of worms there, haven't I? I'm gonna have people messaging me. Fuck.
Just block them.
Nah. It's just an indicator that, okay, this guy knows what he's on about, and they will, like, people will take me serious. If I, like you saying with the whole podcast thing, if I reached out to someone on Instagram, which has happened already,
yeah,
and asked them a question about business, if they check my profile, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy isn't a fucking knobhead. Like, he's actually doing something.
Yeah,
he's not one of those million people who have business ideas that they want help with.
Yeah, no, 100% see that. Just
devil's
how did that come about then, though? Because I mean, I've heard, like, you know, I've just heard people in circles say, like, it's not as exclusive as it used to be, or like it's more broad than people think. Or, like, I'm not saying it's not cool because I haven't fucking got it, but
they've definitely opened it up. And I've not really. It's something that when I first saw it, I was like 17, 18 probably. Yeah, and I thought, fuck, that's what I want to do. Like, that's the. I thought at the time that's like the pinnacle of being an entrepreneur, been on under 30 list because you're young and successful, and that's what I wanted to be. And so when the time came where I felt that I was in a position to potentially get on it, I was like, let's just fucking go for it. I spoke to my mate who knew a guy who'd been on it the year before, and I was asking him about this guy's business. He was like, and this is a really close mate of mine who was talking to me about this, and he's like, yeah, you need to apply because you'll definitely get it. I was like, well, fuck it. Like, I've wanted this since I was 17, 18. I'll just do it. And I didn't really expect anything from it, but yeah, I had interviews. They checked, you know, claims and whatnot, and like charitable donations that we claim to have made and all this shit. And they're like, yeah, this guy's actually built a big business. He's done what he said. He's not lied to us, and he, you know, is worthy of coming on it. But what I'll say is it's definitely opened up. Like, they had one list originally, I think, and now there's like 30 under 30 lists in every continent, and then you have it in Ecom, in like.
So what list were you on? Ecom UK?
E-commerce, yeah. E-commerce Europe.
And do you have to apply for it? Because, like,
you don't have to apply for it. You can be nominated.
Could you possibly build like an underground £1 billion crypto company at 21 and not be on it? Is what I'm saying.
100%.
So, like, is everyone that's on it?
You can refuse.
Are they all applied?
No, you can be submitted, or you can apply yourself. Yeah. So I applied myself, but was also submitted is the wrong word, but whatever the fucking word is.
Yeah, I'm just jealous, really, aren't I?
Someone said this guy should be on it, and then I applied for it, and then got it. But
yeah, I think you definitely should be on it, from what I know. You're a fucking beast.
It's annoying because they had like an in-person event in Detroit last week, and I can't go because of COVID still. So, but
what? So every 30 under 30 in the world?
No, fuck no. Like, it's open invite as well, but I guess you have to pay to go. I don't know, because Jason Wong, I want to say is his last name. The guy he owns Doe Lashes.
Yeah,
he's fucking. I didn't know who he is. Smart guy. So he was there, posted on Instagram. I was like, you fucker, I really want to be there.
Was he on Day and 30?
No,
he was just there.
He's just there, but there's like a Slack thing that you get added to with like pretty much every other list are there. But I don't have the time to, you know, go through all these people and decide who I want to connect with. It was literally, for me, like, I wanted it since I was 17. It's there in front of me. All right, grab it. And that was it. And then I realized, fuck me, I can't believe this was what I thought was like the pinnacle of being an entrepreneur. Like, come on. It's just, and everyone at home was like, fuck me, that's so sick. But like, just ridiculous.
Were you in Forbes magazine? Was it just like online?
No, I doubt it. I don't think so.
I don't know the magazine is still a thing
anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty fair.
And then
I guess a Forbes cover would be like the next level. Like,
yeah, but I know some sketchy guys who've been on covers of similar shit as well. And it's
like Entrepreneurial magazine and shit. What's that other one? Founder magazine.
Founder.
Fuck, I've got a crooked story on that. Just to go slight tangent. Who's the founder of Founder magazine?
Nathan.
It's fucking Nathan Chan.
Yeah.
So him and Greta Van Riel, who's absolute that beast. She had like multiple brands, whatever it is. She was probably one of like the earlier people that was a brand builder that like built a personal brand that I knew of, etc. Ended up meeting her and Nathan. I don't know if you were at this event.
Shit.
In Barcelona.
No, I was there,
but
you
July
got a
2018.
VIP ticket and I was hungover in bed. Yeah. This is when your Rolex got stolen.
Yeah, it is. This is when my Rolex got stolen. Yeah. This was a good story. So there was like it was for the event and I had a VIP ticket. I remember going with Tim Caldwell, if he's watching, fucking funny bloke. to like the speakers, and I think he was a speaker actually, which I still to this day think is funny. Like, sorry, no offense to him. You know, it's all good, but
I think just to butt in, and no offense to Tim because I don't really know him that well, but from what you guys said and from his numbers at the time, and he was invited to be a speaker, it just shows you that people could just be plucked out of nowhere to speak at these events without having like a reference check or a background check or shit like that. And Tim's like a legit guy, but I'm not sure he's...
Yeah, it's funny because I remember taking the piss out of him at the time, and he himself was laughing, but
yeah,
I'd have fucking done it. Like, it's a good...
yeah.
Be a good experience.
Yeah, 100%, but what I'm saying is like these, and I think this is what you're getting at with the cover of Founder, a lot of these companies running these
well, I was getting on a slightly different point, but...
It's like, you don't even know who the fuck you're listening to half the time. Like that, in Barcelona, there was so many black hat freaks.
There was literally a black hat meetup, and I remember saying, "What's black hat?" And they were like, "No, literally, this is like a community.
We sell fucking crack cocaine pipes on Facebook for a day." It was
literally that shit.
Banned.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck are you doing here? I thought this was a legit.
Yeah, it's just like, funny. This is like Ecom convention.
Yeah.
If you've not been to an Ecom convention and you're interested in that shit, no, I would say go to one.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Get
Definitely
fucking pissed 5 nights in a row and just laugh.
Yeah.
But don't go to it. Well, I guess in a way it's inspiring, but
don't go expecting to learn some really like high level secret sauce.
Don't expect it to change your life, because they are ultimately,
go and meet some
they're
cool
expensive
people.
High margin tickets sold to impressionable young people that are new to the industry.
Yeah.
So, but the thing with Founder, I just remember getting really pissed, and then ended up at a bar with him and a bunch of other people. But he was just so pissed, and it was just fucking funny. And
isn't he really short as well?
He's really, he's really small. He's really small. He's a really nice guy. It's just funny because he was really drunk, really Australian, and really small.
Right.
And he was saying a load of shit. I think one thing I remember him saying, I don't know what it was. I think it's because I had that Rolex that got stolen, and he said, Rolly before Rolex, as in he said, you need to get a Rolls Royce before you get a Rolex. And I was like, wait, what? A Rolex is like $6,000, the one I had. A Rolls Royce like $200,000. What do you mean? It was just some weird drunk shit, but I just remember it distinctly.
I'm not getting any of them.
It was funny.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, where was I? The Forbes 30 under 30. So
Found a mag cover. Oh, that was a tangent you went on. Okay, Forbes 30 under 30.
I want to go on another tangent then, and I don't know if you'll let me speak about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously you've not done like the fucking super, we'll come on to that in a minute, like the cars and shit, but you didn't really put that on like Instagram or anything. And the Forbes thing came about like a year ago?
About 6 months ago.
When did you break up with your ex-girlfriend? Is she gonna watch this?
Doubt it. After that, definitely. It was definitely after that.
You were with her for a while, weren't you?
We were together for probably about 4 years.
Was that from uni or after? It
was after uni.
Yeah.
After uni.
And were you living together?
No. It was never a serious, like, this is the future kind of thing. It was very chilled, casual. But it was 4 years, it's still...
Yeah. And was it amicable when you broke up?
Very amicable. Mm-hmm.
All right, fair enough. I thought I was going to get some... Yeah. No, well, I guess...
Yeah, it was very amicable.
Have you had any female attention from the Forbes 30 under 30? Not that you wouldn't get it otherwise, but you're pretty ghost. You're not really on social media.
I couldn't tell. Well, it probably is because of that. There has been like the odd, there's people, but you kind of this. This is a thing. So this is quite a good topic. So after we split up, the first thing one of my best friends, probably my oldest friend, told me was, "You need to be fucking careful now, mate." I was like, "Fuck." And a few other friends said the same thing. You need to be fucking careful.
Because you got money.
Yeah. And then I was like really upset about that. And I was chatting to my mum, and she was like, "Adam, you have a good judge of character. You know people's intentions. Don't be stupid." Blah, blah. I was like, "Oh fuck yeah, actually she's right." There's been, I went on a date with this girl, and like the first date was like proper good, got on really well. I was like, right, cool. Organised a second date. And
when was this? In recent months?
Maybe this was before I went to Portugal for the second time, so July.
Yeah.
And fuck me, I was like the second date, it was just like, it was so boring. Like she was I realized, so the first date, you get to know each other.
How did the first date come about?
An app. an app.
An app.
So I was like, right,
No
we'll go for a
comment.
meal, have a few drinks,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. It got on well, but you don't really get to know a person on the first date. You just can't. Second date,
No, you're too
and,
drunk.
it was quite obvious that there was a chasm between us in terms of like what we were interested in. And I was like, fuck, this girl is not for me. And she was into just posh shit. Is the simplest
like expensive
way to put
shit.
it. Not necessarily expensive, but just like posh shit, like boring shit. And I was like, nah, not for me. And then you think back, because of what my mates have said, I think, oh shit, maybe it was because of this, maybe it was because of that, and she's turned up, and I'm here just casually as fuck. Yorkshire lad, probably thinking, I thought this guy was fucking rich and all this shit. I don't know. And it just, maybe it wasn't that, you know? Maybe it's just because of what people have said to me, I have it ringing in the back of my mind, like, it must have been because of that. But anyway, yeah. That was just one person. There are plenty well-intentioned girls in the world. They definitely outnumber the ill-intentioned girls.
Well, I think that's another debate. But
well, okay.
well, no, I will admit, like, particularly when 3-4 years ago, whatever, I was like doing well drop shipping, and then doing well with like the brands, had the fucking fancy car and shit. I very much flexed it on social media, and to be honest, I flexed it on social media because I wanted to get girls.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that from everyone that does it. I know exactly why they do it.
It wasn't, I wasn't even doing it for like just people to see. I was doing it because I wanted to.
As long as you're aware of the sort of girl that's going to attract.
Yeah, and I was, and I definitely wouldn't do it as much now. And I've got a girlfriend now. It depends if she's watching, which she won't be, which is kind of part of the problem.
Right.
Well, not the problem, but
I think you should stop talking.
yeah, I've got a girlfriend now, but there's been arguments lately. Nothing to do with this, but yeah, and I did that a lot. Like, I'll be the fucking first to admit, like, there's a question I'm going to ask after this, because I had the fucking cars and shit, and I flexed it, and still love cars. You know, I don't have a car right now, which actually is fucking, in a way, actually quite refreshing. Yeah,
the traffic here is shit anyway, so.
Why? You've never really done that whole...
No.
You're a simple... Definitely a... Well,
simple,
you're a less
less
materialistic man than I was, certainly in my earlier 20s, even though you were doing fucking bigger as big and recently bigger numbers than I was ever doing.
I guess...
where do you stand on that? I know recently...
to be honest, I listened to your podcast, I think it was with Tyler, and you kind of changed my opinion on it.
Is that why you bought the fucking new Defender?
No, I was getting that because of my dog.
All right.
So when you talked about the network, it like instantly unlocks having a supercar and meeting these people. I thought, actually, that makes sense to me. So I think kind of differently to you guys, I guess. That makes sense to me. That's a good reason to have a supercar, to meet these interesting people that are perhaps going to unlock new experiences for me later in life, and blah 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 blah. What I don't see is a good reason to buy one of these is because I need some likes on Instagram. I need some more followers. I need some people to think I'm fucking cool. I don't care. Like, I need some girls to DM me because I need an ego boost. I mean,
to be fair, just to put, I was obsessed with cars. That was the first reason. The reason I posted it,
I get that,
was because for girls.
But it's like,
I would happily have had it if I couldn't post it.
I would. My mind is changing slightly as time goes by. But yeah, I spend my money on So my drive and my motivation is just the freedom and just having this thought in the back of my mind that if anything goes wrong, I'm going to be good. I can go live wherever I want, do whatever I want, when I want, with who I want. And if everything went to shit with my trading business, I would still be fine. So that's why I'm spending more on houses and assets and things like that. I guess a car. Let's not go into that.
A car's not really an investment.
But that's why I'm spending it on like rentals instead of fast pieces of metal. I'll buy one eventually, I'm sure of it, because it would be fun to have. And
you're a lot more sensible than me.
Yeah, but at the same time, I like experiences like spending a fair bit of money just going random places. Like just come back from Costa Rica for 2 weeks, Morocco for 10 days surfing. Meeting cool people there as well. It's like you don't have to just network with entrepreneurs because
people
100%. I meet there. It's like,
I agree.
These guys are fucking cool. And yeah, it's I'm enjoying it. It's good.
So you've started doing that more lately, I've noticed, like the whole, I think you did the surfing stuff, and like, have you just had like an awakening? Because obviously you said you did that like less travel, and obviously not traveling full time or anything.
An awakening. It was obviously no longer been in a relationship. It was certainly not her. It was no one's fault. What I'm saying is, I didn't come to Bali with you because I felt guilty that I'd be leaving my girlfriend behind. Yeah. Not that she would have cared, because I think we both deep down knew this is a casual thing. You know, if one of us wants to go off and move somewhere else, then so be it. It's not going to work. So split up. And I think deep down we both did know that, but I guess used the relationship as an excuse not to come to Bali and do that shit. And because I didn't do that then, I'm doing it now.
It's got more time now. Yeah.
And I don't have the guilt of, oh shit, like, what's she gonna think? I think, oh shit, my dog's gonna be on his own. So
where do you put the dog?
My mum or my brother will look after him. So
yeah,
it's all good. He has been in a kennel for like 2 weeks before now, and he was fine. He's like Rufus, man. He doesn't give a shit. Get someone.
Shout out Rufus.
Yeah.
How old is he? Is he the same as Stokes?
How old's Tokyo?
16 months.
Rufus's birthday is on 22nd of May. So he's
his 12th of June, so they're very similar.
Yeah, shit.
Was he 16 months or whatever? June, July, August, September.
So he's a year younger, a month younger than Rufus.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely enjoying where I'm at right now. And just getting a good balance as well, just between work and...
Yeah, so like your day to day then, and I think we've spoken about this a bit, like WhatsApp, whatever. Like, are you working, firstly, more or less than you used to, like time-wise? And secondly, how does that time look compared to how it used to look when you first getting started in the trenches a bit more?
That's a hard one, and if my parents listen to this, they'll be like, "Yo, he's such a liar," because there's been multiple times where I've complained like, "Oh, I'm so bored, I've got nothing to do. All the work's just automated," and then like a week later, I'm like, "Oh no, I don't have time. I'm so stressed. Got so much to do. Sorry, I'm too busy," because I'm so erratic, or have been erratic. I kind of managed to settle that down a bit recently. So generally the working day or week looks like a couple of calls that will tend to be half an hour to an hour long with various different people, whether it's my internal team, agencies we work with, or more recently and more often now, new opportunities that I'm trying to pursue. So getting financing for certain projects we want to start, or ideas I have, speaking to manufacturers, speaking to a branding expert that I work with quite frequently now, developers, to, we're coming up with new ideas for redesign the website or add a new feature that's going to potentially move the needle in the right direction. But I'm not in the trenches actively setting up email marketing campaigns, checking the ads, all that stuff. I maybe logged into my Facebook ads account for the first time this week, and I hadn't logged in for maybe like 3 or 4 months, because I've got an ads agency to do that, and they check in and they show me the account on the call and they'll tell me what I need to know. I don't need to go in and spend half an hour trying to figure shit out.
Yeah. So if you got abducted for 3 months, weird way to put it, if you fucked off for 3 months, would the business be good? Would it keep growing? Like, how much you needed at all
It'd keep going. Someone needs to pay off the Amex card, but I'm sure someone will sort that out. No, if I got abducted,
well,
or
just making you leave the business.
Months, I'm gonna have to log in and do something. I need to pay people. I still don't trust anyone to actually like press the submit button when I'm sending all everyone's wages each week. I don't trust people to pay our suppliers the correct amount, even though the invoice is every week and it says it in black and white. I still don't trust people to pay off the Amex cards and stuff. But I could, but I guess it's just me holding on to something.
Need something to do.
Yeah. But I mean, paying fucking bills, fun.
And where do you want to go with it then? So, is there like a clear plan to do X in X amount of time, or right now you're just enjoying what you're doing? And
there isn't like a financial goal anymore. there is an idea that I want to pursue that no one that I know of has pursued yet, and I think I'm probably the person to do it, just from having done Crown and Paw, which is acquiring businesses in this space, leveraging the assets and the resources, the infrastructure we have, and building a group of, say, gifting businesses. Basically, I don't want to kind of get myself cornered into, oh, this guy only sells custom pet portraits. Like, we can branch out and be a gifting company at the end of the day. Also looking at, I can't really go into detail on this, but more of a subscription thing, which does tie into the like some existing websites we have. And then we've got 2 Shopify apps that we're developing at the moment, and obviously we have our software that we have considered rolling out as well, in terms of software as a service business. And then also, like, I'll probably just take a chunk of money each year and move it into the property business, buy some more rentals, and I'm moving into that space a bit as well, and meeting people like who are doing cool shit in property. And a friend of mine who actually used pretty much manage Tiger Wednesdays after I'd graduated. He works in property, and he's always saying, like, let's go build some fucking houses, because that's what he does day in, day out, but he does it for someone else. And I trust him because he's like, we've worked together before. I didn't really see it as him working for me, even though technically it was. We were working together. He was running the business for me. I did fuck all. So I trust him to do a good job. So I have the money at some point. I don't know how much we're going to need. And we'll go into it and build some houses probably and see where that takes us. But that's going to be more of a side thing, and I think he knows that. And if he's listening, you know that now. I'm not going to be there every day.
Yeah.
Doing
so
shit.
A similar thing that me and Tyler, I think, spoke about in episode 4. He should probably speak to you about the property shit, to be fair, maybe. Because we were saying, like, you know, so I guess the question is, if like someone came along today and just fucking gave you 100 million quid, would you keep building firstly that business, any business, and what would you do? Because I think it's a good question to ask. And obviously it's hypothetical. It's never going to be 100% accurate if it actually happened.
Is a good question. And
because I said I think I'd keep building stuff, but that's potentially naive.
Yeah, when I was listening to Tyler's episode, was he like episode 2 or 3?
4.
And he said, I've got this mate who said he would probably just fuck off surfing. That was me, guys. Just for reference. So
did he say that?
No, you said that.
Oh, I said that.
Episode, he said,
sorry, I was referring to you. Yeah,
said, Tyler, what would you do? So
because I think we'd had this discussion before.
Yeah, we were chatting on WhatsApp
that?
or something. Yeah, because I was talking about selling and all this shit.
Yeah, exactly.
100 mil.
Well, the 100 mil is just to say, you know, if money was no problem and you just whatever, fuck your money. Like,
I'd definitely take some time out. I'd take like at least 6 months just to myself, just getting loads of stuff out of my system, doing what I want to do, go see some cool places, do some cool shit.
Yeah.
I will get bored and will undoubtedly build something. I couldn't tell you what I'd build. I couldn't even tell you what niche or what industry. But it would be something that I would like to think would have an impact on people's lives who are definitely not as well off as most people. I think most entrepreneurs would do that at that point. You become more of a philanthropist at that point. Because it's fun, but I think once you've done it, and Crown and Paw is not anywhere close to these huge brands getting big exits like Movement Watches, Gymshark, which is fucking gigantic. It's nothing like that. It's a totally different ball game. But I've kind of experienced 0 to 20, 30 mil, and I've had that experience. Like, I want a different experience, so maybe I would take that money and buy a shit ton of businesses, do them up, flip them. I don't know. I have no idea to put it.
Yeah, it's obviously it's kind of like a psychological.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sit around on my ass for the next 50 years till I die. I would definitely move in and move into something else eventually. I would get bored of just like traversing the world with my dog, although he'd love it. So
yeah, because just on that, and again, we were speaking about this like briefly before we started recording. Obviously, as I've said a billion times in the podcast, I've been building this new brand because I just needed to get the next thing fucking going. But yeah, like I've kind of realised, I feel like I'm probably done with the whole like bootstrapping it, so like just funding it all myself. not that I need other people's money to do it, certainly not at the start, but, and then B, just like doing it myself, because that's the thing with like ecom, particularly when it's like, even like you've got 100x people, but ultimately it's still you sat in your house every day on a computer.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, I quite like the idea of the next thing, trying to go, and this is something I couldn't have done in the past, didn't have the experience, connections, whatever, like trying to like fucking raise a load of money with a bunch of ridiculously smart people and try and do something like a bit more monumental, a bit more like, still ecom, and this next brand will be ecom, and I'm starting it with a product which is a bit more standard, but I have this idea of, basically want to go into the fucking psychedelic, like mental wellness space through different products and shit. But that's the sort of thing. Like I've had a few meetings recently, and it's like that's the sort, when you start speaking to the right people, it's like fuck, that's the sort of thing which potentially you're talking about, like building a fucking science company, not just like.
See, that's cool. That's interesting.
That's what I mean. Yeah, because I've been thinking about that.
Yeah, so
I don't think
going
I
back
can
to the
focus
100 mil
enough.
thing, again, you can raise that 100 mil from someone. I think having the chat before the podcast, you know, I'm in the process of trying to raise funds for a project. I don't necessarily need the funds, and we probably will use our own funds for the first part of this, but if it goes well, then I'm going to be fucking straight down to London speaking to all sorts of people. Yeah. Because I feel like I'm going to enjoy what we're building or what we're trying to build. And if I do enjoy it, then I will go down the route of building that, 100 mil, 50 mil, 100 mil. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
5 billion.
Yeah, fuck it. And I will go down that route because I enjoy it. But if I find out from this first acquisition that I don't enjoy it, then I won't do it. But yeah, you're never going to know without trying. But yeah, the whole raising money, so as we were saying before the podcast, I've kind of glamorized the idea of bootstrapping. I always wanted to be that guy that just bootstraps.
I think a lot of younger entrepreneurs do that have something to prove.
I think because we, at that time, money is the be all and end all, and we put it on a pedestal. We both have, let's be honest, wanted money so bad. And because you have that in your mind, you think that it's so fucking scarce, and there's no fucking way that investor will give me 10 grand, 100 grand.
I guess just on that, it is scarce when you have no experience.
It is, but then when you hear, but then when you get experience and you get a network, we could have some fucking 19, 20-year-old sat over there, and I'd be telling them, like, lads, they have this idea, and they tell me their idea, they want some cash. I'm like, fucking, all right, let's do it, but I want a percentage. But if that was me, I'd be scared shitless trying to approach someone trying to get money. Yeah, exactly. But now we're here, I'm like, fuck me, there's so much money around. For people don't want to be sat on the cash, they want to be seeing people using it, putting it to good use, building cool stuff that helps people.
Yeah, just on that, so I won't say his name, but I had a meeting through a DM the other day. It was a fucking guy I look up to in similar space, and he actually put something on Instagram announcing the exit of his brand. I'm trying to think if I can say it because it's in the public domain, but yeah, I won't say his name. And he was saying he recognizes that like it was e-commerce changed now, so like it's definitely not as easy to start with like no money as it was. However, on the flip side, and I've started seeing this just in the past year, like just by reading shit, there's more private money and like PE money, like VC money going towards ecom and fintech probably more than anything else in the past fucking year than there's ever been ever. And obviously again it comes down to like, fucking investment funds aren't going to give you money if you've never done anything, but if you've got any form of like just like if you have it and you've got a decent idea, etc, and
that phrase
it just kind of changed my mind. It's changed the way I look at things because like you say, bootstrapping is so glamorized, like particularly like it's almost like you want to be, and I'm guilty of it as well, you almost want people to think like I'm working 18 hours a day when actually you're working 12 hours a day. Even if you think you're working 18, you're probably working 12. You want people to think like
the whole Gary
I hate my life, the whole Gary Vee thing, and
hustle,
that probably was
hustle mode.
I've only recently, I swear to God, only in the past year, because of like the shit I went through and stuff, I reckon now I even when I'm properly grinding out, probably work 8 to 9 hours a day tops.
Yeah, I don't do that. Do you know what? Even when we had the office, that was when you two were getting up at like 5 a.m. and getting to the office at 6.
I wouldn't do that
what
now.
What the fuck are these guys doing? And I would turn up at like 9 and you'd be like, oh, you're late. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was Gary Vee. I'm telling you right now. And even he has changed his tune now on that though.
It's just damaging. Like, No money.
It is mentally damaging. I agree.
Yeah, I forgot what we were talking about. Oh,
you were going to say the point on having it.
Yeah,
I mentioned
the phrase "have it." It's so, you can't put your finger on what it is, but you know when someone has it, and it's I can't even explain this very well on the podcast, but like, so you have friends who have these ideas, but they're idea people, and they will have these ideas all their life, and they're like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
They don't have it. Then there's people like us who you might tell a few people I'm going to do this, but more often than not, you'll just fucking do it and then say, oh, I did this thing.
Or you'll tell him and then it will actually be there in a month.
Yeah, you'll tell them and you'll do it. And one of my pet peeves, and I could rant about this for ages, and people in the past have got annoyed with me for being so harsh about people who say they're going to do shit and don't do it. It annoys me. It's wasting my time. Stop asking me for advice about this business you're never going to start. You know you're not going to start it. Stop, just don't waste my time about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to the habit thing, I couldn't tell you what it is, but you know when someone has it.
There's probably a fucking psychological.
I found out a few days ago. I've been telling people about this. This post popped up on my Instagram. It was like the Wonderless Gene. I was like, that's bullshit. The Wonderless Gene. I was like, this is such bullshit. So I was like, straight onto Google.
The psychopath gene.
Wonderless Gene. And it was like DRD4R7 or something. I was like, oh, holy shit. This is a thing. So I was reading about it.
No, it's real. It's not a concept.
Yeah, no, it's real. I thought someone had just I'm going to make this cool post about Wonderlust and shit.
Yeah.
It's real. It's this gene. They're giving it this nickname, Wonderless Gene. Call it the gambler's gene if you want, because reading about it turns out kind of predisposes people who have this mutation. It's a mutation. And I'm not a scientist, so don't fucking come for me if I get this wrong, but people who have this are more predisposed to risk taking. They don't get excited by the shit usual people get excited about. And my mum has told me since I was a kid, are you excited? I'm like, yeah, it should be good. She's like, I bet you're really excited, you're just trying to be cool. I'm like, should I feel really, is something wrong with me?
Yeah.
Should I feel more excited? I'm not trying to play it cool, I'm just not that excited. And my ex-girlfriend, when I bought this car, she was like, but you're so excited. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's a car. She's like, oh, stop, surely you're excited. I'm like, shit, there must be something wrong with me. So I might actually do this test to see if I have this gene. But gamblers have it, people who take risks have it, people who travel a lot have it. I'm not saying they all have it, but it predisposes you to have that kind of behavior. So yeah,
fuck, that's kind of deep.
Yeah, it's cool though, because my mum has told me so many times, I bet you're excited. I'm sat there should I be excited right now?
Well,
should I guess feel differently to how I feel? That
comes on to a broader question, and I'm actually a good example of that, and I'll say a reason why in a minute, not because I'm fucking putting smoke in my own ass, but people say generally speaking, are people born entrepreneurs or are they made entrepreneurs? That sort of shit.
Yeah.
I'm a twin.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying I'm a good example. Non-identical twin. So technically it's the same as having just a brother that was in the oven at the same time. So different eggs and shit. Just a bit of biology. We look different. We are very different in a lot of ways. But it's the exact same upbringing, exact same school, everything. We even went to the same city for uni. I went to Newcastle Uni, I went to Northumbria because I fucking fucked up my A-levels because I was depressed and just figuring out that I didn't want to pursue education. Mm-hmm. And we are work-wise, entrepreneurial-wise, the complete fucking opposite. He's an engineer at Rolls-Royce, great job and shit, definitely more academically clever than me.
Yeah.
But and to be fair, and this is why it's an interesting example, because he himself has tried Ecom and just doesn't have it.
Right.
So quit after a month.
But what is it? That's the question. Well, is it the grit? Is it shit, I failed, that I give up? Is it, how do I do this? Where do I start? What is it?
I mean, yeah, whether it's Ecom or anything else, it's just...
Because I mean, this is totally different, but when I first started making money online, and I was making 200, 300 quid in sales with a dropshipping business, I started a Facebook group there and then because I knew, number one, there's money in selling shovels. And number two, I want my mates to do this so we can go travel. I wanted to build this business where I could work remotely. I wanted my mates to come with me on the journey. So I was like, right, I'll add some mates to this Facebook group. Maybe one of them followed my advice. The others said they were going to do it, didn't do it. And one of them is my friend Zach, who I've known since I was 4 or 5 years old. And later down the line, he's like, you know what, I'm going to fucking try it. And he's quit his job and he's running an e-commerce business now. So he clearly has it, but it took, he didn't, I don't know if he tried and failed when I first had him to this group, but he's working at End Clothing in Newcastle. And now he's running an ecom business. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've had maybe 5 or 6 notable friends over the years that I've helped him with stuff.
Oh yeah, I know one of them very well. Fucking hell.
Oh, right, okay.
Shit.
I wasn't actually thinking of him, but...
Me and Eddie were talking about that guy yesterday. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I'm not going to mention him on this, but I haven't seen him in about a year, to be fair.
Well, not bad.
But my experience of that is, and again, I have to preface this sort of shit by saying I'm not saying being an entrepreneur is better or worse. It's just different, because in many ways I fucking wish I wasn't, because I wouldn't have had the shittest year of my life in the past year, for example. But the fact I'm still in the game says I couldn't do anything else. So, and yeah, like people that, and I've got like close friends, and if they're watching this, they probably know who they are, that have, they've said, and people that aren't close friends from uni in the past or whatever, and they're like, help me start this ecom thing, which for a start, they're only starting ecom instead of any other business that they could do, because they saw me doing it, which is the wrong way to start anything. But secondly, like, at the end of the day, like, I've not got much patience for people that talk about doing something, not doing it. I think it's one of the worst traits you can have in life. Like, even on a smaller scale, like, don't say you're going to start going to the gym every day and then not go.
Yeah, because
I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Every time you do that,
just like, as a general rule of thumb, if you say you're going to do something, either do it or admit that you weren't cut out to do it, and say I don't want to do it.
It creates a habit that you don't realize you're creating. Every time you say you're going to do it and then don't do it, or you start and then stop, it makes it even easier to do it the second time, the third time, the fourth time. Muscle memory is like a thing.
Mental muscle memory.
It's crazy. Like, psychology's insane. And as soon as I think learning more about your psychology is one of the best things you can do if you're starting out as an entrepreneur. Like, I didn't read business books on how to make money and get rich. I read books by Malcolm Gladwell. Like Blink, Tipping Point, Outliers. They're my favorite books to this day. Yeah. So good. And coming back to the twin thing, maybe because you're twins is because one of you is why you're so far apart, because you may be searching for an identity when you're younger, and you have to differentiate yourself. If he's that, then I'm going to be this. We don't want to be the same. We're twins. We're similar enough already. We have to be different somehow. So maybe psychologically it's like distancing from each other in a different way. Yeah, maybe. Although at the same time, I can remember being, I don't know, roughly sort of 10, 12 years old, whatever, thinking, I know I want to do something different, but I don't even know what fucking business is at this point. I didn't even know what ecom was properly until I was maybe sort of 17, 18. Yeah. And even then I didn't. Do you have any family members that have... I have an uncle who's a serial entrepreneur. Oh yeah. Like, absolute beast. Yeah. But not in ecom, and he actually didn't get started being an entrepreneur until he was maybe 29. But I guess it's probably a bit different because it's a different generation, so it's kind of impossible. Definitely different, but interesting still. But I see a lot of myself, well, a lot of me and him or whatever. It's funny, isn't it? Because I bet your parents have said no one else in my family. Where do you get it from? Because it's not us. Because my mum and dad say the same. Like, my parents aren't entrepreneur at all. No. Whereas my uncle is. Yeah. My uncle. So when I was 14, I did my work experience at my uncle's graphic design / signwriting business, and he's really the only entrepreneurial person other than myself in the family, and it's weird, very strange. I mean, my granddad worked for himself, but not like from an entrepreneurship. Yeah, I was just thinking, because obviously entrepreneurship is technically a word that humans have made up, and obviously right now you mean like referring to business and shit, but going back to like, this is going on a fucking tangent, but it's so interesting, going back to like caveman times, obviously those genes and so on still existed. Yeah. So I wonder how it would have stood out then. What did entrepreneurs look like when they were cavemen? What did entrepreneurs look like 5,000 years ago, whenever the fucking caveman age was? Definitely the ones that discovered fire. Yeah, probably. That's probably what it was. Elon Musk of the caveman fucking. It was though. The fire. There was the Don that sat there just like, fucking hitting shit together. Then there's the Don that's gone out and made a straw shelter and fucking sold it. That's it. It's like, the guys that got made fish shit for people to use as straw shelter or something. Yeah. The guys that realised you can draw shit on these walls with these bits of whatever they were using to draw. Yeah. And then he started selling them to the other cavemen for pieces of meat. That's what the entrepreneurs did in that era. Yeah, that's cool though. Fuck. Yeah.
It's such a deep question.
It is. But I do think it's crazy how much like psychology impacts your behavior and, you know, ultimately your outcome. Like, but I think there are also ways probably to override it. Like if you have, like I was talking about Wonderless Gene, there's probably, you know, I mean, you can override that shit. You can override a lot of stuff that you have that you're predisposed to be like. You can override it through nurture, which is coming back to the twin thing.
Yeah, I think that this was the point I was going to make actually. I just remembered. The thing with that is I reckon you need something that starts you on that entrepreneurial path, whatever. Like ultimately, like we chose to go to that event in Singapore, and I still cite that now, as shit as it was. It was like the first time I'd met other entrepreneurs, and it changed my worldview. Yeah, like dramatically.
But the thing is,
if I hadn't chose to go there, I might not be sat here speaking to you.
Yeah, agreed.
Or anyone else that I know.
And exactly the same. And you need that community, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, blah blah blah. You need belonging. Yeah. And it's so easy for everyone else who isn't choosing this like entrepreneurial path to have community in their work, to have community and belonging with their friends that they can talk about how much they hate the 9-to-5 job and can't wait for the weekend. It's so difficult for entrepreneurs to find that community and belonging. And then when you go to fucking Singapore and everyone is the same, you're like, fucking hell.
Yeah, you just brought up another point actually, but yeah, that's so fucking true. But my point there was like, obviously that's where I think, yeah, actually something like a Gene makes sense. Cause like if I was 19, whatever I was, 20, 21 at the time that, you know, chose to do that. And obviously prior to that, I chose to make a Shopify account when no one was forcing me, no one around me was doing it. But after that, it's like people might say that they, you know, like friends when they're like, oh, I want to do it, when actually they want to do it because you've done it. But because they're now potentially in, I don't know, say they got a grad job and then now they want to start a business, and then that's a much worse time to do it because now their surrounding is fucked. And there's a saying, it's something along the lines of like experience breeds confidence. So like, for example, like when I fucked up with Neon Beach, like if I didn't know anyone else and that was the first thing I'd ever done, I might say,
fuck yeah,
oh, like Ecom's not for me. Yeah. I might have said that. But I know that I did that in 9 months or whatever. Got it to like fucking 9 million in 9 months or some bollocks. I'd done Midnight City. I'd done a clothing brand before. I know 3 or 4 good mates that are running brands that are all telling me, just do the next thing, of course. Because that's a different conversation. Whereas if you speak to someone that's never done that, they might say, why would you want to get a job? Why would you want to? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So experience breeds confidence. So like, yeah, that fucked me up for a while, but like, I never for a second thought, I'm not going to start the next thing and that be a success. Of course I'll start the next thing. Yeah. And of course it'll be a success.
Yeah,
because, which is two-sided. Firstly, because I know I've actually done
people
stuff in the past.
To this, I've never run a business in life thinking, what the fuck is he on about?
I just genuinely, like, I can't even see the risk like in starting a new business. I really can't. Like, I just feel that like, I don't even see it because, I mean, it's two-sided. Firstly, because I've got experience and I have done it in the past and I'm not shooting blind saying, like, for example, I wouldn't say I'm going to go run a marathon and get a great time because I've never done it before and I don't train. But then the other side is, even if I didn't have that experience, and ultimately when you start, and when I started and when you started, you don't have the experience, you still go into it thinking there's more to be gained than lost. And that's where that has to be something in you. Because no one has any experience before they get experience by fucking definition. Yeah. But you still go into it thinking, everyone else is saying, really haha, why are you starting this business, you fucking loser? And you're doing it.
Just to
because you back yourself.
Interrupt slightly, another thing that pisses me off is when people speak to me like, oh, I'm going to start this business. I'm like, yeah, do it. Oh yeah, but I got no experience, or I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Don't know how to run Facebook ads. You think I was born knowing how to run Facebook ads? It didn't even fucking exist. Like, I had to learn. You need to go and learn. But anyway, back to it.
No, that's such a good point because, like, genuinely, I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've been working on this new brand, which is in a completely different. Don't know anything about the product. There's like 2 different products I'm working on, but. And this is me with 7 years experience, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, I should have someone else doing it for me, some people say. But like, I would literally Google, like, what is X?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is fucking, like, what is this supplement that I'm interested in? And then I'll literally make a Google spreadsheet. And I was doing this yesterday, so I'm not making this up. there's this product I'm trying to develop. I know nothing about it, but I know that it's cool, and I've been taking a similar one myself. It's this supplement. So I go on, I find 20 of the best looking brands that I found that sell something similar. I go on their fucking FAQs page, I find the ingredients they're using, and then I never heard these ingredients. I put these ingredients in a Google spreadsheet, literally list them down. Then I start Googling, what is X? What is X? And you find Google has literally everything if you're willing to fucking search it instead of scrolling.
I think people
TikTok.
don't realize that you actually have to put in the work. But they
also don't realize how simple certain things are if they would just change the way they look at it.
Yeah, and I think maybe they feel stupid for asking the stupid questions, but I asked really stupid questions in Murray's Facebook group, like really stupid questions.
And I guarantee as well, like I was actually watching a Stephen Bartlett podcast from a while ago with some guy called...
Oh shit, I got a good story about him.
Christian Angermeyer, who I'd never heard of. This is actually where this came from. So some billionaire who I now know everything about because I've fucking started Googling him for like 3 hours. And there was Peter Thiel I started reading this article about this guy. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Because he was in like the certain space that I'm now getting interested in. And he's a billionaire and he was like 39. I was like, fuck, okay. Self-made, all this shit. And there was like quotes of people talking about him in like some YouTube video, and they just said, so I think some like Forbes interview, like, why is he so successful? And the answer that someone else gave about him was because he's so curious and asks questions.
Yeah.
That was it. And that was Peter Thiel, who's the PayPal co-founder, that was saying that about him.
Wow.
Like, don't know the exact context of that, but I just read that and thought, well, of course. And like, everyone's got a phone, but it's like, it's not even, it's just such a basic thing.
Yeah.
But it's so important. Like the amount of time, I'm not joking, I must search define : word because I don't know the meaning of something at least once a day. Like, I'm not even joking. There'll be a new word I come across.
I mean, people should be using the phones for that more than scrolling fucking influencers' feeds on Instagram.
I do that a little bit as well, but like...
Well, yeah, I mean, so do I, but I mean...
The amount of basic Google searches I put in just to like find out shit per day is probably mad. And to a lot of people that would be like, oh, you're stupid, why are you doing that? If you don't know it, you shouldn't do it.
No.
Like the average person would say to me, trying to get into the space that I'm now interested in, like even my own parents would say this, to be honest. Yeah, but is that... This is actually a classic example. So like a supplement product, which is what I'm doing on the next thing. A consumable. The first thing my parents said to me, and not talking shit my parents, but like, and this is what a lot of people would say is, oh, but that must be highly regulated. Like there must be, what if like a customer dies taking this or something? Like firstly, like obviously I've thought of that, and then the answer to that is, well, just speak to a supplier, learn about it, and white label a product to start with, so it's already been tested, all this shit. But secondly, if that's the first thought, instead of fuck me, I'm excited by this, I'm getting butterflies thinking about it.
Finding a reason to fail before you've started.
Like that is why I think your point of there's probably a fucking gene, which would explain there has to be something.
Yeah, you're thinking different.
There has to be something, is what I'm saying, because I would never even think that.
Yeah. But that's, if there is a gene, it's kind of sad, because I would like to think that entrepreneurship can be developed in people. Like you can teach it in schools.
Yeah, true. Tom Billy speaks a lot about that, because he said he was basically a loser until he was like 27 or something, and now he's a fucking billionaire or some shit.
I mean, you could still be a loser if you're a billionaire.
Yeah, but like, as in he wasn't an entrepreneur. Like he was just a lazy fuck, and then he built this billion-dollar business.
Just like a layabout.
So because he talks about that, he says, because it is a good point. But I feel like there has to be something. Just
going back to Steve Bartlett. So there's so much stuff I've brushed over that I did before I kind of moved into Ecom. So me and Zach, who I'd previously mentioned, started a vintage clothing business, and we'd go to warehouses, buy all this fucking vintage shit, and we'd go to, because we both worked in events, we kind of knew how to promote events, and we were marketers, you know, you'd create a Facebook event and invite us to the Facebook event. That's marketing, isn't it? Anyway, this event in Nottingham somehow took off, so we went and rented this place. It's called, I can't remember what it was called, they're really cool. Rented this place, and we had this like vintage fair. But anyway, when we were going to get the clothing, we'd got a train because neither of us could drive at this point. And at the time I was building for the business an engagement app, like, you know, all these like auto follow things you can get from Instagram. I was building one for Depop, and if you don't know what Depop is, it's like an Instagram eBay hybrid type thing, and no one had ever built one for Depop, and I was like, I'm fucking building this, I'm gonna make millions off it. So I built this thing, and we started running it. We turned it on, and it ran overnight, and it was like liking and following and commenting or every Depop account in fucking existence. And I woke up and we'd got like 30,000 followers
overnight.
We'd followed like 3 million people. Something like, it was just it was maybe not 3 million, but it was a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I think I broke it. But there was clearly no stoppers.
Yeah, like Instagram
on
has
like
that.
Depop's API or whatever. I'm not a developer. Anyway, it's like, Zach, fuck man, like this is insane.
Yeah.
So I was building that at the time, and anyway, I had followed Steve Bartlett and Dom McGregor. I think I've got Dom on Facebook and I've no idea why. Probably because I was a promo wanker.
Yeah.
Never spoke to him in my life, but he's like looking for beta testers for this app. Anyone who does it, or anyone who helps us out, I will owe a favour. Cash it in any time. I've not cashed it in yet. If you're watching, I hope they eventually watch it. It'll be great. I've not cashed this in yet. So I was a beta tester for like Bebo's Blab app, and it was basically a walkie-talkie. It was a bit pointless.
Yeah.
But the reason I opted in was because I was so interested in what these guys were building with these, at the time, big like meme Twitter accounts. They were buying them up and bringing them into like a group of...
And that became Social Chain.
That became Social Chain. But
Yeah.
I followed Dom before... I followed Steve when he started Warpark. I was following what he was doing, yeah. So I followed these guys. And the reason I bring him up now is obviously you mentioned him, but I bought Steve's book. And he talks about just this emptiness that him and Dom felt when they went public with Social Chain.
Was that Happy Sexy Millionaire?
Yeah. And
I haven't read that.
Just this emptiness they felt. And I understand that feeling now, because I was reading it, I was like, what? Surely. And I've read it in That Will Never Work, the Netflix book. Same feeling. They went public and there was just no excitement. He was just empty. Obviously,
Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not on a level with any of those guys, but I understand the emptiness because they expect money to fill this void or this this to be the achievement. And with the Forbes 30 under 30 thing, I expected that to make me feel fucking awesome, and I got it. I was like, oh okay.
Shit.
So now it's like,
doesn't cure my entrepreneurial depression.
Yeah, so it's like figuring out, because like making more money isn't going to make you more happy. Is like, yeah, it's complicated. But yeah, the Depop thing's a funny story. So yeah, ended up with like a cease and desist from them a week later, and end of story. Yeah.
Yeah, just on that point you mentioned, I mean, yeah, I feel like everyone, obviously there's levels to it, and yeah, you've definitely made more money than I have, certainly in the past year. But like last year when things were going peak well for me, and like my outlet was always cars, and like I think I said it on the previous episode, and it was like a fucking spine chilling moment. But I remember just kind of having that realization when I bought that Ferrari, which by the way, I didn't even fucking like that car. The R8, which was nearly half the price, was way more fun.
Right.
And just thinking,
That's
like, for fuck's sake, like, yeah, it's a bit shit, this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not very... I don't know what it was. I think I went mad with cars and, like... It's
not that. It's not going mad. It's... We're looking in the wrong places. Like, you just need to be grateful for what you have. Which is... This isn't me being deep and shit. I'm just, like, reiterating exactly what Steve said in his book. It's like... He's fixed it because he's figured out that actually he just needs to be more grateful for what he has and what he's done and where he's at. It's not about constant... Well, to an extent it is about always striving for more because you want to keep growing, but at the same time, remind yourself
that's
there's other ways to
interesting,
grow, not just your bank account.
I think that's the point. And obviously, you can be grateful for what you have now, still want more, and then be grateful then. But I think, like, in the entrepreneurial sense, like, you realise that even like starting this podcast, like I've realised just like how much I enjoy just fucking sitting down talking shit with a few drinks. You're not making money
off this right now, and if you do in the future, who gives a shit? You just enjoy this.
Yeah,
and it's a release as well. It's an output, like just being able to.
And I probably went through a few years. I think I can't do anything that's enjoyable unless it's like making money. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not driving revenue, I'm not going to do it. Like,
as if like when you're a newbie, that cha-ching sound on Shopify is like internally connected to your happy, like your dopamine.
Yeah, I've not heard that in years. I mean, people that have that app on their phone are fucking virgins. But
the guys listening to this, maybe they're just starting out and they're waiting for that cha-ching sound.
Yeah,
it's as if it was like connected to your dopamine.
That will give you depression and extreme bipolar, which probably did to me. Like, I feel like Ecom
it's a game. The gamified the app. Shopify
heightened my underlying underlying mental health issues.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just like
the ups and downs.
the whole dopamine thing where you get like a like or a notification.
It's even worse because it's financial.
It's a fucking cha-ching sound. They didn't put it there for no reason or because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's because it triggers the dopamine.
So true.
And it gets you hooked. And you want to make another sale. And who gives a shit if you spend $100 on a Facebook ad that gets you a $50 sale? You've got a revenue screenshot you can share in your Facebook group. Like,
I feel like we're getting into a deep part of the pod, but it's fucking usually the best parts.
mm-hmm.
One thing we nearly started speaking about earlier, or I wanted to mention, was I feel like something that's so common but just not spoken about enough, and probably exaggerated by COVID and shit, is just how fucking lonely like starting a brand or a business and just genuinely being an entrepreneur is.
Yeah, not even the start. Like, I've felt
Just in general.
major loneliness. What year is it? Still 2021. Yeah, it's this year.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be when you're tucked away in your bedroom saying no to your friends who are going out to the pub or on nights out and you want to build this business. It can be when you built your business and there is just no one around to talk to about it because no one really understands your mindset, and when you do try to talk to them, they don't want to talk about that, or they will try to talk about it, and bless them, they do try, but they just don't get it. They don't understand them. It's my parents. So my dad specifically will, he clearly is really interested in it and he wants to understand, and he asks these questions and I want to talk to them about it, but it's very hard for me to do that when the replies I get are not as in depth as I would love it. I can't have a proper discussion about it.
Yeah.
I think it comes down to just a difference in mindset. Like, there was a time, and I think I told you this, there was a time ages ago where he was like, oh, you want to be careful, otherwise you're going to, this is years ago, you're going to be careful, otherwise you're going to have to sign up for that. You don't want to exceed the VAT threshold. And I came to the office and it was just good to be able to talk to you like, oh my God, fuck, like, my dad's just told me this. I'm like, why has he said this? Like, this is just totally the opposite mindset.
Yeah.
And just having you and Eddie there to talk to about it was so good. Yeah.
I think it's lonely in two ways. Firstly, it's lonely physically because particularly when you're getting started, you're not in like an office. You're usually just literally in a bedroom or in your house. And then even when you get going, you're less likely to be in a big office or anything. So like you got fucking 100 people, but you work from home. And that's by yourself most of the time. And then it's secondly lonely, and this is probably as lonely but not physical, is I guess the mental side. Like, people, like, there's less people to relate to in general. Yeah. So unless you have that circle, which is I think why I sought that circle so much, by like,
which is why when I see
having
you guys
to move to London and shit. Like,
I've not met Tyler, I've not met Billy. I follow them both on Instagram. I met Fred once. And I see you guys all together and I'm jealous. I'm like, you fuckers. Like, I don't have that in Leeds. But,
well, that's the thing. So like, yeah, that was, I couldn't live like in York, or, I mean, as long as I had entrepreneurial friends around, it was just like the one, I ended up just landing here because this is where the people that I'd met initially through traveling, which was initially because I went on that fucking Singapore event.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gone to that Singapore event if I hadn't joined a Facebook group because I was fucking lonely in uni while trying to learn Facebook ads.
Right.
So like, there's like butterfly effect.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying just then, like, you speak to your parents, but basically anyone that's not an entrepreneur, like, and again, it's not saying entrepreneurship is better or worse, whatever, even though 99.9% of people watching this are either entrepreneurs or pursuing entrepreneurship. It's just different. And
I mean, you don't necessarily even have to be an entrepreneur. Like, so would you consider an influencer to be an entrepreneur? Would you consider an OnlyFans girl to be an entrepreneur? Would you consider like a gamer?
Watch episode 3 about this. In some ways, yes. In other ways, no.
Because I'm just thinking, like, they probably experience loneliness as well.
Yeah. True.
Especially
in
like
that
the
respect.
OnlyFans girls who are tucked up in their fucking bedrooms or the random hotels they book to take photos all day.
Yeah, if they're making 10 grand a day sending ass pics, then
yeah, but still
I'm
lonely.
jealous.
It's still lonely. So,
yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah, because like,
but just being able to speak to people who experience, they basically work on their own in solitude. You don't have to be an entrepreneur. Like, maybe even artists or writers.
I mean, to be fair, obviously COVID meant a lot of people that were used to going to the office every day were suddenly experiencing that. That was quite interesting actually, because I remember my brother, forget the exact conversation was, like last year when he was working from home for ages, was like, "Oh, you've always done this?" I was like, yeah. It's not like, and you've been saying I've got a great life, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's quite fucking shit some of the time, like elements of it, obviously when I wasn't traveling and so on. But obviously now, most people have gone back. If they had an office job, they're in the office at least some of the time. And if they're not all the time, they at least like have more people by default that they're working with.
Yeah. Which I think I don't know, maybe that's why I sometimes have those feelings of, fuck it, should I just get an office and build like an in-person team? Is it to cure my loneliness? Who knows?
Yeah. I honestly don't know if I'll ever do that or if I'll ever change of heart. I don't know.
I don't know actually. Maybe when I'm 40, 50.
Yeah.
I don't know. Family business. Generational wealth and all that shit.
Yeah, maybe.
What has he got in his mouth?
Oh, he's being naughty. People listening can't hear this. Naughty dog. And do you think, and this is coming on to like something which has been going through my mind lately, which because of the current situation with me living alone.
Right.
Like, do you think entrepreneurs should have entrepreneurial partners?
This is such a good question.
It's kind of led on to a different topic, but
this is a really good question. I think about this a lot.
I've thought about it a lot, and I've debated it a lot
recently as well. Adam's
single, for the record.
I think it depends on the person. Like for me, I've never had an entrepreneurial girlfriend, so I would quite like to experience it to know if that works for me better than a non-entrepreneurial girlfriend. Do you know what? She doesn't have to be an entrepreneur. Just work remotely. Let's go.
I was about to say that.
Like just work remotely. That's sound. That's fun. I'm not sure. Well, I am sure. Actually, I was going to say I'm not sure I could have a girlfriend who works in an office, but I have had one and it was fine and it works. And just because that relationship didn't work doesn't mean that's the reason it didn't work. That wasn't the reason it didn't work. So I think it's different for everyone. If that's a deal breaker for you, you're not a bad person for being so like, it's not even fickle actually for having that as a deal breaker. She has to be an entrepreneur. She has to work for herself. If that's your deal breaker, that's your deal breaker. Like,
yeah, I think for me, I probably actually said, and I've currently got a girlfriend, but like previously said, and my girlfriend isn't entrepreneurial. And yeah, I don't think I want an entrepreneurial girlfriend, but I've said to my current girlfriend, I do find it frustrating sometimes that she works in advertising in the big like 500 person office, like just like more like traditional, and like she can't travel. So I remember previously I'd said, and like months ago, I really want to go to fucking Amsterdam for a week. I just like want to, because that's what I would have done in the past. And she's like, I can't go.
Right. And what did she say?
And I was like, well, this was when everyone was working from home, and I was like, well, this actually comes on to more like a mindset thing. But I was like, well, you can go, because your job requires is that currently, when she wasn't going to the office, you're online between certain hours.
Yeah.
Granted, we're not going 9 hours different time zone. Like if we just go to somewhere in Europe, an hour ahead, behind, whatever. Yeah. What's the problem? And she was like, no, it won't work. Well, firstly, like you just
using that as an excuse.
I don't know, maybe, but I think ultimately it comes down to she's never done that, so it feels like out of pattern. And again, like this is what I mean. Like you don't have to be entrepreneurial. You have to be non-civilian.
Right.
And I say that flippantly.
Civilian.
That term,
I remember
like,
you saying that for the first time in that office in Leeds. I was like, what the fuck?
What I mean by that, and I've said it on previous podcasts, and just like, and it's like you were saying, like gamers, YouTubers, like they're not necessarily entrepreneurs, but they're not civilians in the respect that they're not doing, 9 to 5.
The prescribed lifestyle.
Yeah, and again, I have to fucking say this, it's not better or worse, it's just different. So don't give me shit. But that would be that's the thing I've potentially found frustrating sometimes.
I would like to experience what a relationship with someone in that position is like, because I think, just thinking from my perspective, I felt guilt for no reason. Because if I said to her, I'm going to go here for 2 weeks, she'd have said, yeah, fucking go, have the time of your life. Didn't need to feel guilty, but in my head I just did. Whereas if I was in a relationship with someone who can move remotely and go with me, then I'm not going to feel that guilt because they're going to be coming with me. This guy's going to chew the microphone to bits.
Yeah.
And
I've also got mates, one I actually spoke to the other week, who's an ecom entrepreneur. I don't know if you know him.
What's his name? Can you say the name?
Yeah, Floris.
Oh yeah, I don't know him.
He's in Amsterdam. He's in Dutch. The most beautiful man I've ever met. Most aesthetic boy.
He had a pretty big glow up though. Like he was
always a good looking boy. No homo. But I don't know his girlfriend. But I know his girlfriend. I don't think he's an entrepreneur. But she quit her job to work for him so she could travel with him.
What the fuck?
That's what he told me.
Wow, I wouldn't do
and
that.
then Jordan's
girlfriend,
to a lot. His girlfriend is actually a bit of an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I was on holiday, in Mallorca with him and her and Fred. It was like a fucking quadruple fourth wheel or something.
Yeah.
I think Liv was meant to come but didn't come because of work, ironically. But yeah, his girlfriend travels with him, so it works for them because that's the lifestyle he wants as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So
I think it's everyone's different. Everyone wants something different from their relationship. So, but yeah, you just find what works for you, really. But yeah, it's an interesting one because you see, like, there's not many. Obviously, there's a lot of lads that will kind of like flout their wealth for clout. Flout for clout. That's a good phrase. Whereas there's very few girls who are like entrepreneurs and who are quite open about what they're doing. Yeah,
dog's just licking my hand. It feels really good.
I've got a good topic to go on to next, by the way. But there's like Grace Beverley is probably the only person I can think of immediately that comes to mind as a girl who's in a similar age to us, who is an entrepreneur doing shit.
Oh, she's an absolute beast.
Yeah, she's fucking insane.
Absolute beast.
Fucking smart. But it's like, then you look at her life and think, whoa, she works a shit ton. Like,
yeah, she's grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. She's a lot more successful than me.
Yeah, fuck.
And probably you, to be fair.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, fuck it. I'll fucking say it.
Fair play to her. I mean, I don't know when she started these brands like Shreddy and Tyler, but
she built a great personal brand first, didn't she? And then
yeah, true. She
was very smart with that. She was a very smart influencer.
And I always thought it'd be such a good idea to just like, I'll be the ecom, similar to what Billy's doing to an extent. Like, I'll deal with the ecom shit. You just be you. Just get bare followers.
I used to think that, and that's what Genflow do.
Right.
Have you ever heard of Genflow?
Nope.
Yeah, they're a business, London based, I think.
They're a business, okay.
They're a business that's London based. Fucking hell. That's London based that builds brands for influencers. Right. I think Tallo's actually one of their brands, or was one of their brands.
Crafted to an extent, don't you, with like Leon Scott or someone? Or released some product line on them.
Yeah, it's not quite the same because it's not their brand. That's just more like influencer stuff. But
right.
Yeah.
No, but I think he has some equity in it.
Alex Cannon does. They're 50-50.
Yeah.
That's different though. I mean, he's an influencer owner.
Right.
He's not an influencer just doing a collab. It's not quite the same because they're just co-founders.
Right.
Whereas Genflow will go to an influencer and say, we'll build a brand for you. Here's X, Y, and Z that you need to do.
Do you reckon the influencer gets much say in terms of the brand that gets built? We want to build a fucking...
I don't know too much, to be honest. I know Rob Lipsett did these fuel cakes, these protein pancakes.
Right.
He's that fitness influencer. But I don't know exactly how it works. But it's quite an interesting model.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So the other thing I was going to come on to, because I said Grace Beverley, but also a follower because she was on The Apprentice. Camilla Ainsworth is quite active.
Oh yeah, with that milk brand or something.
Yeah, it's funny. You look at so I still fucking love The Apprentice. Milk. Yeah, I think Milk Plus.
I haven't watched it. Yeah, that's it. I haven't watched The Apprentice in years.
And I don't know how long it's been going. Maybe like I want to say 10 years. So
probably more, to be fair. 15.
So let's say when it started, let's say it's been going like 15 years. I'm 27 now, so let's say I was 12, right? And it came out and I was like, oh, these guys are fucking cool. This is great. It's a TV show about entrepreneurs. And then you grow up, you don't go on The Apprentice, fuck that. And you build your business. And then now I watch it from a different perspective. And I'm like,
what the fuck are they doing?
Wow. Where did they find these people?
It's reality show.
You realise it's a reality show.
It's a non-reality reality show.
But I think it probably changed when he stopped hiring them to be his assistant or his apprentice or whatever it was and started just giving them money.
It's effectively Love Island with the business niche.
Yeah, it is. But I still love it. Like, that's my reality. I don't watch Love Island, but I watch The Apprentice, mate. And then the Dragon's Den. So we got asked to go on Shark Tank because they thought we were a US business.
Oh yeah.
This was when we were first starting. Like, come on Shark Tank, blah, 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 blah. How much money do you want to raise? I was like, nothing from you. And you watch Dragon's Den, and people will assume you like Dragon's Den because you're an entrepreneur. I find it boring, and I think
Dragon's Den's small scale.
The people on there are crazy, giving up so much equity,
and they're also small. They're also shit businesses in most cases. They are,
but it's like, do you not realise how valuable equity is?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but my experience of Dragon's Den, in most cases, these businesses are doing like 40 grand a year in revenue.
Yeah.
Like they're fucking tiny.
Yeah, that's it. And
not everyone, but
I can't believe when I was a kid, like I was like looking up to these shows, and I think it's dangerous to have these people operating at this level as the aspirational figures for young people. Like I said, maybe I was 12 when The Apprentice started, and maybe I watched Dragon's Den when I was like 14, 15. I think it's dangerous.
You've opened up a whole other can of worms there.
These are the aspirational figures for young people who want to work for themselves and start a business. These are the people they're watching on TV.
Would you not think that starts with, and this is a whole other fucking debate, and we spoke about it in episode 3 a bit, like, because obviously way less people want to be entrepreneurs. Like, I think the bigger problem in general is
way less people, you think, want to be entrepreneurs,
then don't want to be entrepreneurs.
Being an entrepreneur is like being a fucking rock star these days. It's ridiculous.
No, as in way less than are pursuing, way less than like civilians as a percentage. Like 1% of people actually pursue entrepreneurship. Yeah. But I think the problem starts with like Geordie Shore and shit. Like people grow up, like the most impressionable age group, maybe like, I guess 10 to 18, whatever, like 16-year-olds, particularly girls, grow up thinking being Marnie off Geordie Shore is like the career path.
Oh dear me.
Do you know what I mean?
Geordie Shore actually were filming a scene before we had Tiger Wednesdays.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I remember seeing them film.
Can you get these out of the fucking club? We're opening in 20 minutes. Like, no, we're just filming a scene they're using. It's all fake, guys. Oh shit, maybe cut that out because they were.
I'm not cutting that out.
They were filming a scene in like the Tiger. It's gone now in like the VIP area. Yeah, it's called the Lofts now. So they're filming like a scene in the VIP area in Tiger, and the VIP area tends to be where you would sell your tables and your bottles, and all my staff would go after the shifts. And I was like, we've got 1,000 students queuing outside waiting to get in, and these bastards are filming a fake scene for this shit TV show. Yeah, get them out.
That was like royalty in Newcastle. I used to be like, I was 18 like first year, and I'd see them filming thinking, oh, these ballers.
My girlfriend at uni, I think it was first year, I remember she was in Legends, and they were filming in Legends, and Scotty T was like trying to get, he was like,
he used to shag like every fresher.
Let her come in, and she ran me like, Adam, Scotty T wants me to go back. I was like, right, I'm coming down Legends. No idea what I was planning on doing to Scotty T's fucking huge. But anyway, she came out, she's like, yeah, proper weird, like they asked for my passport and stuff before they would let me through the barrier to like the VIP bit. I was like, wow, that's fucking weird.
Just on like VIP, going on another tangent here, because I don't really remember. It was like, it's like bottles, like tables and bottles, I think, in like clubs like that in Newcastle, or in Newcastle.
I don't think it is anymore. I don't know. I'm not.
Because obviously, like you get a fucking table and a bottle in a London club, you easily spend like $3,000. But
mate, it's Newcastle. It was probably like 20 quid.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Like who's gonna go to it VIP? Like the local joiner.
Well, I mean, back then,
like footballers, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going to Top.
Top was good. Yeah, I liked Top.
And they'd make out it was like,
oh yeah,
it's funny looking back. You'd think it was like super exclusive, like like you're really lucky if you get in, sort of thing.
It's so in the VIP area, Top, like you would often see, well, not often, but sometimes see like the odd, like really, like peripheral celebrity just walk through, like Joe McElderry or something. Proper zealous. Oh my god, Joe McElderry.
I remember 50 Cent going there.
Yeah,
after an arena show at the what's it called?
Yeah, there was some actual decent people.
What's the arena called?
Me and my housemate took S Club 7 on a night, well S Club 3 at that point, on a night out. This was in the third year of uni, because I was running the event at Tiger. There was a big like freshers thing, and some freshers events company had booked S Club to come and perform, and there was like Paul, Bradley and Joe turned up, and they did this set, and then they were in like the staff room in the back. So I went through, obviously, to like, I wanted to meet up, but I was like, speaking to the manager, just chatting away, and I saw them. I was like, And my housemate was with me because he's like, fuck, come on, he loves this shit. He was like, come on, we need to go meet S Club 7. So
that's classic.
We went into the back and he was like, where's good to go around here? And so my mate worked at one of the clubs. He worked at Bond Bar, so we were like, we'll take you to Bond Bar. So I went to Bond Bar with S Club 3 and bizarre situation. But you just so many like just like bygone celebrities. I forgot what we were talking about.
I remember
Dragon's Den, fuck knows.
What's he got? Bass Hunter. I remember Bass Hunter performing.
Bass Hunter, man.
Bass Hunter was
he fucking
massive
lived
in like
Sam
2008.
Jack's, fuck.
Yeah, he got like a residency in Sam Jack's or some shit. Probably getting paid like £200 a night. He came down from his IB for £200 a night to £200 a night in Newcastle.
Bass Hunter, man. Yeah, I think he's still mates with the old manager of Sam Jack's by the looks of things. Fucking hell.
So yeah, it's mad. It's just like funny how your perspective changes on like D-list celebrities as you get older.
It is.
And realise like what the world is.
I forgot what we were talking about before. The price of trebles.
3 trebles for £5 it was.
Not anymore, mate. £6 rip off.
Is it? Jeez.
No, I don't know. It's probably like a tenner. Yeah.
Well, just bringing it back before we
wrap up.
Attempt to close. I suppose, these podcasts are always like end up being like half about the actual topic, then half about just like fucking
just funny shit,
weird and wonderful things about life. So, what's the plan over the next year in life and in business?
It's quite a short time frame.
It is, but
okay.
You can do a lot in a year.
Strap myself into my desk for the next 2-3 months. Get through Q4. Have a big one. Hopefully close my first acquisition deal within the next 7 days, which will be exciting. And I have toyed with the idea of doing like a limited series content, potentially podcasts or just like YouTube videos. Again, just limited series content, sorry.
You get more views than me.
Don't know. Literally just updating people in terms of this is the revenue, this is the expenses, this is the profit. This is how much we paid for it, and being very transparent about it and showing them how long it's going to take me to pay myself back to essentially get to the point where this business was free and now it's cash flowing me X amount and it's also worth this amount of money. So anyway, that deal should close in the next 7 to 10 days, all being well. And that will be the start of a wider project, a wider direction for the company, operating at a slightly higher level. Release these 2 Shopify apps that we have, which will be quite fun because I've never run a software as a service business without getting a cease and desist from Depop. Continue investing in property, probably not as much. Maybe, I don't know. Like I always said to myself, if I can do 100k passively, personal income, totally passively through property, dividends, whatever, that kind of gives me. I don't know why I have that number in my head, but I feel like that gives me.
It's all you need, really.
Gives me permission to do stupid shit and take more risks with my e-commerce company and software companies. So do that. But in the meantime, also keep traveling, keep going to these cool surf camps, meet new people that are not perhaps in the business space. Maybe come down to London more often, meet more people, get in more circles. Definitely need to meet the sort of people you're meeting with by the sounds of it. And just keep building the business. But I think for me, realistically, Crown and Paw probably had its biggest year last year as it currently stands, as the Crown and Paw we know right now at the time of recording. We are working on some new stuff that could potentially take it in a slightly different direction. And then if that works out, there's no telling how big it could be. So it's quite a lot that we're working on. We've got fingers in a lot of pies. So it should be quite a fun year. Sick.
Well, banging episode, I think. Try and wrap it up there because we could probably go down a billion different rabbit holes and start speaking about
like 10 episodes,
existence theory or some bollocks. We'll do a part 2 at some point.
Simulation theory. Shit.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. Simulation theory. This dog is a simulation.
Ah, shit.
But we'll wrap it up there. I hope you enjoyed the episode. As usual, listen to this, watch it wherever the fuck you want. Spotify, Apple Music, we're on YouTube, obviously, where you're watching. Episodes every week is the plan. And I mean, people have asked me, where do I reckon I can get this to, like, subscribers wise in a year? I suppose because it's a podcast, it's not really about subscribers, technically.
What's it about?
listeners. I guess that's a combination of like
what the stats on, like, can you see
well,
like
yeah, I mean, I'm so
many...
new to this. This is another thing I was just Googling, how to start a podcast, how to get on Spotify and shit. But yeah, it's Acast, but we like, it's getting way more views / listens on YouTube.
You know, like you have LTV and repeat customer percentage.
Yeah,
like,
you can see like amount of listeners, amount of people re-listening.
Like the drop-off rate.
Yeah.
Oh, that like this episode might be too long and everyone drops off halfway through. Adam, that was shit.
Most people don't listen to the whole thing. Yeah,
they don't.
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Maybe
you should leave some like golden nuggets at the end.
probably need to do the thing that professional ones do, is a little clip at the start of the best bit.
Yeah.
But
or just make it a thing that at the end of the episode people just drop some absolute bombs of knowledge, so everyone has to stick around. Oh wait, they just fucking click to the end. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah, true. Well, I'll have to start doing that actually for your part too.
Okay.
But yeah, hope you enjoyed the episode. Listen to it, subscribe, like, etc., etc. We got some bangers coming on the way. I promise you that. And yeah, cheers for listening. Cheers for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.